talking about cases in Oman when I was from 2001 to 2005. We had a series of cases, about 5. I joined in June 2001. That's the first time the first case took place. And the first thing is the anesthetist. I think the biggest support for any obstetrician is an anesthetist. So they were the one who were called in. Blood bank was rung up. They were informed, we have an emergency, be ready with the blood. So was a laboratory people called. The laboratory was informed that you get ready, we are going to need a lot of blood. Hematologist was told to come over there, and the most important which you miss out is a porter or the GDA, because we do take samples but we do not know how to send them across. That's the last moment. These are the people we should immediately contact, and they were all contacted. Like we have in Pushpati Cluster, we had a theatre which was straight from the labor room. The patient was directly wheeled into the theatre. Oxygen was given by mask at about 10 to 15 liters per minute. And by the time the anesthetist did come, we did manage to put 2 to 14 or 16 cannulas, took out the blood was sent for everything through coagulation profile, KFT, LFT, cross-matching. And the blood bank was said, this is what we call a 7, we had over there massive transfusion package, which included 4 units of PRBCs, 2 units of FFP, and 1 platelet. They were immediately dispatched from the laboratory. The patient was in distress, so the patient was intubated. All the utotonics were tried, nothing worked. Cervix, vagina explode, maybe it is traumatic, that did not work. By the time we did get the coagulation report, which showed that it was grossly deranged. So while the blood component therapy was going on, we had taken all the research measure. Then a decision was taken that we had to remove the source of bleeding, and that was the uterus. For that, we normally take that for 2 consultants. So another consultant was called. We did take a decision. Administration involved, relatives counsel, and inspecting was done. The surgeons too were called in over there, and the important thing about these things is a multidisciplinary approach. We should not think that we alone can handle it. It's impossible to handle these things all alone. So the surgeons, the medical, the hematologist, the anesthetist, of course, they are mainstay. And the surgeon over there, he was from Kerala, he was a very senior one. He just said, we'll just pack up, leave the drains, and they just put a strong bandage and on that. The patient was shifted out in the ICU, and the blood component therapy replacement. That's the mainstay, as Dr. Jyoti said. That's the main way we need to do. Patient got stabilized, and she was reclosed after 48 hours. She told her required 35 units of blood, 10 units of FFP, and 2 units of platelet had been given. And luckily, that patient had survived. The second case is vagina. There were no signs of accident or damage. We just put her onto an NST, and 30 minutes later, we felt that the NST was very suspicious. There were a few drips we were getting. With the background mind that maybe she has an abruption which we have not picked up, he took up a decision for a cesarean. Coagulation profile, cross-matching, everything was normal for her. Cesarean done, clear like her, there was no blood in the abdomen. Prophylactically, we did call the surgeon, let him have a look at the liver and the rest of things. Maybe tomorrow there may be some other injuries. He came, everything's fine, closed her, shifted her out into the department. Urine was perfectly clear. We went off to change, and within 20 minutes we get a call that there's frank hematuria and she's developing petechiae all over the body. Again, the same steps. Coagulation profile, which was normal about an hour before, had become deranged by this. FTPs were high. Same protocol was this. But the good thing about this patient, she did not bleed vaginally. So we were not pressed to take out the uterus because there was no bleeding per vagina, but she was collecting blood within the abdomen. So the abdominal girth kept on increasing. We did ultrasounds. We found 2 liters, 3 liters of blood. Then abdominal paracentesis was tried because we thought that's blood. We better remove it. And then she was not intubated initially, but 8 hours later she needed ventilation. Blood component replacement was done. She developed ATM, but with dialysis that improved. She recovered completely, and 2 years later she came in for a normal vagina. So it was just to give an idea that how this, we had another 3rd patient who was missed abortion. We were just doing a curettage. She went into DIC. Another one was for an APH taken on cesarean. That's the first one who died on table. So with that particular one, we really learned how to develop our protocols, how we need to act in emergency. Each one of us knew what are the steps we need to really work. As one of the RCOG guidelines says, that the 4 things are the most important. First is the communication, second is monitoring and investigations, the third is you have to, I think that is, and we have Communication, monitoring and investigations, and then how you treat to arrest. You all have to go simultaneously. They cannot be beyond one another. You have to work in close combination.
So diagnosis in first case was embryonic fluid?
The first patient was embryonic fluid because it was a precipitate labor. Precipitate labor with 4 hours. The second particular was an accident. There was a small retroplasmal clot. But that could not have been the major cause. We cannot rule that. Actually, the Omani population is very prone to DICs. So normally we see as a coagulation profile, we used to be very precautionary because they had as a population and a race very prone to it.
So that is, this is local condition.
That was local race population problem also is there.
That's what we discussed, that we have to know the local risk conditions also.
Even for a DNC, we had to get a coagulation profile because we didn't know who would land up in a problem.
Question answers?